So Ubisoft just released a brand new gameplay for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and they've also given us like full-on details into what each and every aspect of the gameplay is like. And as far as what I've seen, the gameplay is so much more improved from the last gameplay that they showed off. Now, before we get into the full deep dive into every single aspect of the gameplay, I've done like a full compilation where you guys can take a look at all the clips that Ubisoft shared. So first, let's take a look at the clips, and then we jump on to the full details of the gameplay.
We had two emerging player fantasies that were awesome, the shinobi and the samurai. What we didn't want is try to dilute them into one fantasy. Well, we need two characters.
Dual protagonists and develop these two characters as individuals because we really had the opportunity to explore this era.
Naoe is the stealth character and Yasuke is the fight character. Speed and agility on one side, then brawn and strength on the other. They differ in every possible way.
And up until this point, she's actually been quite protected from a lot of the horrors of war that have...
A lot of things that make her super unique.
So she's extremely fast, efficient, acrobatic. We've worked a lot to make sure that she has the coolest, most spectacular parkour we could give her. She can squeeze in tight corners. She can go prone, meaning that the character can go underbelly and just crawl around in the dirt and disappear from view. We use new tech and use it in a core way for our shinobi fantasy specifically. So what that means, at night, you have to read the environment and hide in the pockets of shadows that are cast naturally in the world. And that affects how NPCs can see you and if they can sense you at all.
Feeling of being the predator. So you feel like a ninja, you can break light, you can vanish in the shadows, and you're flipping on roof with the physique. She's like a blade in the shadows.
Yasuke is our first historical protagonist in Assassin's Creed way through things equally as well and is
dictating how the fight will go. And to do so, we created a mechanic called the posture attack. So he can shot attack to do massive amount of damage and take out anyone.
Barge through reinforced doors, he can lift heavy objects that Naoe can't, but that means that he's somewhat slowed down compared to Naoe.
That hurts.
we have two characters who have such different gameplay styles. So for you really need to think through everything from these two perspectives.
Blood must be paid in blood, Yasuke.
We always can do quests with any character. So if you are Yasuke, you play with his strength, but also with his weakness. Same for Naoe. Each character has their own skill trees, but also they can master the different weapons. So it's not just about stats, it's
HP, they have different gear sets, so they're very unique and they're a great balance of two player fantasies.
The most exciting part of having our dual protagonists is they are aligned on what they want to do, but the way they go about it is drastically different. Sometimes playing Naoe, even if you're very good, you'll hit a wall and some enemy is going to kick your ass and you go, you know what, let me switch. And the same is true for Yasuke. Sometimes you'll get a setup, a couple enemies are high on rooftop that you cannot quite reach and having to go, you know what, let me switch back to Naoe. And having this push-pull situation, it gives us lots of levers to play with and try to break the mold, I think is the most fantastic thing.
All right, now that you guys have taken a look at the full clips that I just compiled, let's take a deep dive into whatever Ubisoft has shared regarding the gameplay details. And we'll just go through all the details that they've shared and we'll just go through all the details that they've shared in a very in-depth way. So first off, let's start off with what they have to say here. So basically this is like the full open world. Looks pretty good.
One thing we really wanted to do at the start is deliver on great player fantasy. And as we started diving, we had two emerging player fantasies that were awesome.
Wow. Wow. The first thing that I noticed from like the entire gameplay is the quality. Like, look at this. It looks completely different from what we actually saw from the first gameplay that Ubisoft showed off, and you can also see that Yasuke has like a completely different color shade in his armor set. It's somewhat grayish, whereas the first armor set that we got to see was like full on black. So I think there's going to be like a dyeing feature in the game, and then you can also see a couple of things that they've just added into the horse saddle. I think this is something that we can customize inside the game. So it's confirmed that there's going to be different types of horse saddles, and you can customize your horse. You'll have plenty of cosmetic items, and it just seems like that's going to just enable a lot of microtransactions here.
Two emerging player fantasies that were awesome: the shinobi and the samurai. What we didn't want is try to dilute them into one fantasy. We really wanted to explore both sides. So that's something where we said, well, we need two characters.
The setting that we had, the Azuchi.
Definitely. I love the fact that they went with the two character stuff. It's one of the best decisions, because I just love playing as different characters, and sometimes it just gets real bored if you're playing as just one character. And I think they've done a good job in giving us different types of characters here.
Time, so it was really interesting to be able to work with dual protagonists and develop these two characters as individuals.
Wow, look at the quality difference from the first gameplay
by playing off these two different perspectives.
As we worked our way through it and came up with a dual protagonist, it became very clear that Naoe is the stealth character and Yasuke is the fight character. Speed and agility on one side, then brawn and strength on the other. They differ in every possible way we could make them differ.
That's crazy. That's the one thing that kind of just differentiates this Assassin's Creed from all the other Assassin's Creed games, because you know you have two different characters, completely different characteristics. It's not just about like having different genders. It's actually gonna make sense for the first time. But yeah, I agree that they kind of just screwed up with Yasuke, but that's a whole another story. But looking at the gameplay perspective, it's a pretty good thing that they've done.
Our shinobi, Naoe, is the imagined daughter of a legendary Egan shinobi, Fujibayashi Nagato.
Imagined
and
daughter?
Up until this point, she's actually been quite protected from a lot of the horrors of war that have been going on in other parts of Japan. So this is going to be her first real taste of what lies beyond, and it has a profound impact on her.
I wanted to have the stealth as a core pillar in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Player will recognize the classic Assassin's Creed.
Yo, look at the hidden plates, man. Like, this is basically how it's going to look like. I know a lot of people have been saying that it's kind of similar to the one that we've already seen in Assassin's Creed 3, but it's a little bit different if you take a look at it. You can actually, like, bend this over to your side. That's crazy. It's a pretty good hidden blade, I guess.
Experience in Naoe, but we're adding a lot of things that make...
Oh, dude. Wow. This is how Japan is going to look like. Most of the parts are like greenery. I honestly did not hope Japan to be green. I hope it's going to be more colorful. But it seems like they've just gone for more greens. There's like a lot of broken structures here. I think there's going to be like a major aspect focused on like structure breaking and all that stuff. And you can basically see that in most of the trailers as well as in gameplays that we've seen. You can actually see like there's a lot of destruction in this game. So this just confirms like all of these structures being broken. It seems like there is going to be natural disasters. Probably just take a look at all these structures. It definitely doesn't seem like it's human destruction, right? Unless there was like a huge war that just happened in this location. But could be the case, but as far as what I personally feel, it seems like there is going to be natural disasters, which is basically common in Japan, like earthquakes and stuff. If you've seen shows like The Shogun, you would probably understand that there is usually a lot of earthquakes that happens in Japan, due to which they kind of just build their structures in the most weakest way possible so that it's much easier for them to rebuild it once again. And at the same time, even if the structure falls off, it's not going to damage humans as far as what we could expect with like super concrete made structures. You basically get what I'm saying. So it's something the Japanese back in those times kind of followed, and I kind of just think that is the reason why we have all of these structures destroyed.
Super unique, so she's the best assassin ever.
We wanted Naoe to be extremely fast, efficient, acrobatic. We've worked a lot to make sure that she has the coolest, most spectacular parkour we could give her.
All right, that's some good animations.
Squeezing tight corners. She can
like
go
it.
prone, meaning that the character can go underbelly and just crawl around in the dirt and disappear from view. We really wanted to leverage all the light elements that
That's good.
come with our new tech and use it in a
The
core
grapple
way
hook?
for Shinobi Fantasy specifically. So what that means, at night, you have to read the environment and hide in the pockets of shadows that are cast naturally in the world. And that affects how NPCs can see you and if they can sense you at all.
What we want the player
Hold on. I just want to quickly go back to the scene that I just got to see here. Like, dude, what the hell was that? You have like this.
So what that means,
You have like the shadows and stuff. Does this mean like they're literally not at all going to see you just because you're like in the shadows? Like what happens if you just walk down here in the light path? Are they going to like detect you? And then if you're walking literally right next to them, and if there's a shadow literally right next to them, are they not going to be able to notice it? Because now is literally walking past this dude. And thinking from a realistic perspective, and by the way the shadow looks, it doesn't seem like she could basically just blend in like a ninja. It's definitely not possible, realistically speaking. Because
at night,
you see, she's literally just walking past this dude, and he doesn't even realize that she's walking past just because there's shadow. I understand that shadow's going to play like a huge role, but is this how it's going to play?
to read the environment and hide in the pockets of shadows that
That
are
looks a
cast
bit weird to be
naturally in the
to be
world. That
honest.
affects
And also, this kind of looks so cool. Like once you like kill any characters, or like there's wine spilled and all that stuff, you know, these NPCs, they're actually going to clean this stuff up. These are like the servants of like the main lord back in those times in Japanese cultures. They had like servants who do all this stuff.
how NPCs can see you.
And the best part is that you also need to hide from these servants, because these servants are going to be like super loyal to their masters, so they will definitely spot you and report that you're in here. So it's going to get you in trouble. That's very dynamic.
If they can sense you at all.
You don't have to like kill them. You don't have to kill them. You just have to like
what we
sabotage
want
and then
the
move
player
on.
to experience is the feeling of being the predator. So you
Wow.
feel like a ninja, you can break light, you can vanish in the shadows, and you're flipping on roof with the physics-based grappling hook, so the stealth
That's something
is
I
more
love.
rich than ever. And we
Amazing,
really
amazing.
feel that she's like a blade in the shadows.
Looks super amazing. The art of combat.
Yasuke is our first historical protagonist in Assassin's Creed. What we know about Yasuke historically is just a bit, but it was enough to get the team really excited about the opportunity to work with him as a character. He can fight his way out of anything, but he's also super smart and can think his way through things equally as well, and is going to be somebody who always has a commanding presence.
So especially in combat, when we think about Yasuke, it's really about dictating how the fight will go. And to do so, we created a mechanic called the
R1 and
posture attack.
R2.
So he can chamber an attack, and then he can launch that attack to do massive amount of damage and take out anyone.
Yasuke is very, very strong.
So it's basically like R1, R2. R1 is for like the light attack, and then the R2, I don't know. Usually in the Assassin's Creed games, like if you take a look at it, like the controllers, usually this one is like the light attack, and then this one is like the heavy attack. And then if you hold this for a longer period of time, it's going to give you like super heavy attack. That's basically what they're trying to do with Yasuke here. And then if you hold the L1 key or R1 key, it's going to give you like a super light attack. So you're going to have like a combination, I believe, like combining these both things. That's something that is new to Assassin's Creed Shadows. So
He can barge
curious
through
how that
reinforced
works.
doors. He can lift heavy objects that now he can't. But that means that he's somewhat
Wait.
slowed down.
you can... Wait a second. Did he just say that now we can't lift objects?
Lift heavy objects that now he can't. But that means that he's somewhat slowed down compared to now.
What?
On the
Oh my god. Hold on. Dude, what the hell was that? He can't... What? Is this how the leap of faith is going to be in this game if you're playing as Yasuke? Come on, they said he's not going to be able to do parkour, but this is just out of this world, man. Come on.
he's somewhat slowed
That
down
is so
compared to
freaking
now.
hilarious. Damn. Oh boy, that is not going to end very well for Yasuke, is it?
On the ground, that's where he shines.
Seems like he's really not good with the parkour. Wow. this looks so
We
cinematic.
have two characters who have such different gameplay styles. So for every situation, every gameplay
Wow, that
moment
looks so
you're going to
cinematic.
encounter, you really need to think through everything from these two perspectives.
Blood must be paid in blood, Yasuke.
Attack is
We
now
always
way
want to
Sparrow
respect
as
player
Yasuke.
choice, so you can do quests with any character. So if you are Yasuke, you play with his strength, but also with his weakness. Same for Naoe. Each character has their own skill trees, but also they can master the different weapons. So it's not just about stats, it's about the player competency to really understand how the different mechanic works.
They have different
Hold on. So it seems like, Yasuke is going to be like a more forgiving character here. Because if you take like the dialogue options and like the gameplay options that you're getting
Paid in
here,
blood, Yasuke.
she says like you need to pay in blood, Yasuke. And then he chooses attack as Naoe and then spare as Yasuke. So maybe Naoe is going to be like the more aggressive types and Yasuke is going to be like the kind-hearted. When it comes to like the hard part, Yasuke has the soft spot and then Naoe has like really aggressive attitude. So
We always want to respect
you see, you
player
can choose
choice,
that
so
stuff, and if you go over here, same scenarios playing as two different characters.
Any character,
and
so if-
once again, if you take a look at all of the options that you're getting here, as Naoe, you get like I need your help. I'll stick to the Sushibi, and then as Yasuke, you get like I need your help. I'm no musician. So it seems like Naoe also knows music. Maybe like the flute. You could play flute in the game as Naoe, because she actually says that she can use the stick. And then Yasuke, he's like the badass dude. He's a samurai. What do you expect, right? So he's not going to be a musician. He's not going to do all that stuff. No fun stuff for Yasuke. He's just going to be that behemoth who's just going to walk into the war zone and slaughter some badass
you are
people.
Yasuke, you play with his strength, but each character can master.
So, yeah.
It's not just about stats, it's about the player competency to really understand how the different mechanic works.
They have different speeds, they have different HP, they have different gear sets, so they're very
Ooh,
unique.
smoke bomb,
and
that
there's
looks
great
good.
balance of two player fantasies.
The most exciting part of
can
having our
meditate?
dual protagonist is the distinction and the fact that they don't really overlap. Narratively, they have common goals and they are aligned on what they want to do, but the way they go about it is drastically different. Sometimes playing Naoe, even if you're very good, you'll hit a wall and some enemy is going to kick your ass and you go, you know what, let me switch. And the same is true for Yasuke. Sometimes you'll get a setup, a couple enemies are high on rooftop that you cannot quite reach and having to go, you know
Okay.
what, let me switch back to Naoe. And having this push-pull that players get to experience of which characters is good in what situation, it gives us lots of levers to play with and try to break the mold, I think is
Yo, but how do you switch characters like literally while you're in the mission? Makes no sense. Is it like going to desynchronize your Yasuke or Naoe, whatever character you're playing as? Is it just like magically just going to desynchronize and then change your character, or will it be like actually lore focused where Yasuke or Naoe is going to call each other off? And that's what's important. That's what I want to know right now, because the way that they're just making it seem, it just seems like, all of this stuff, like you can simply just change any time
Try
you
to.
want, and that's not something I'm really looking forward to. I want to see like how the change happens, how all of this stuff happens. I don't know, man. It's just bizarre. And that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So we've also got like Gamescom coming up, and there's going to be a lot of gameplay that's going to get shown. So yeah, by the way, let me know down below in the comments, what do you guys think about like the full-on gameplay that Ubisoft has showed? Are you guys excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows and whatever gameplay that was shown? Do you actually think that it's an improvement from like the previous gameplays that they've shown? Because as far as what I can see in terms of graphical representation, it actually does look like it's way more improved compared to the first gameplay presentation. So I'm really looking forward to seeing like the latest build, and hopefully we get like the review copies from Ubisoft as soon as possible, because I still haven't got Star Wars Outlaws review copies. So I'm looking forward to it. And then once we get like Assassin's Creed Shadows, because it's a big game and it's going to take a lot of time. Usually, Ubisoft, from my region at least, they don't tend to get keys as soon as the other region. So it's a big bummer, and I just have to wait till the very end time, and I just don't get time to finish the game, and you know, I just have to grind like the entire day with no sleep. I hate situations like that, and I would just love it if things are more fortunate enough and works out good this year. And yeah, with that being said, hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did, just smack the like rating, really goes a long way, and subscribe for more content. Also, I kind of just uploaded a full-on review of Blakwoodz Wukong on this channel. So if you guys haven't checked that video out, make sure to go ahead, check it out. It'll be somewhere in the end screen, or maybe if it's not in the end screen, go ahead, check it out. It will be in the video section. And yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.